Hello guys, Kolade back again. A big shout out goes to those that actually dropped a comment in one of my videos asking me to make a video about how best to write a critical analytical report in the university. Listen, let's get into the video. And the first thing we'll be talking about is to even understand what critical analysis is. I will compare it to descriptive report. So I understand, I myself, I'm actually from Nigeria. I'm back home in Nigeria. We just write descriptive report. That's how it is. We write all this kind of stuff. We're not actually exposed to critical analysis. So understanding it can be complicated, but of course, that's where I come in. So what's descriptive analysis? From the word itself, it's just about describing basically what it says. You describe a particular phenomenon or you describe a particular topic. All it has to do is just stating facts. And you can compare this to critical analysis. Now, critical analysis is an extension of descriptive. This time around, it has to do with three main elements. In critical analysis, yes, you state facts. Another thing again is to give an in-depth analysis of a particular phenomenon or an in-depth analysis of a particular topic or discussion. You want to evaluate it in the best possible way you can in order to come to a rational conclusion. And that leads to the third point. You can only come to a rational conclusion if you actually have sources, if you actually have backup to what you're saying. And that, in this case, since we're talking about academics, your source has to be either an article, of course, from a highly reputable journal, or you're actually talking about a newspaper, you're talking about websites that are, of course, credible. So the three key points for critical analysis is that it states facts, there's an in-depth analysis of the topic, and of course, the last one is that it gives evidence, and we're talking about sources, academic source. And that's it. So how then do you critically analyze a report? Well, in this segment, I'll be sharing with you the strategies that you can actually use in critically analyzing a report. And later in the video, I'll share with you examples, real examples of how to critically analyze a report. So what strategies can you actually use in critically analyzing a report? Listen, the first thing you want to do is to conduct your research. There's no way you can actually write anything on a particular report if you don't know what the topic is all about. You need to understand the topic in the basic possible way. If you don't understand the topic, you cannot analyze nothing. So, like I said, carry out the research, read more on these things, have a discussion in class. There's a chance that you probably don't understand what they're saying in class. Like I said, to find one of the strategies in how to get a distinction video, you need to have a study buddy. Have a chat with your study buddy, and I believe that way you can understand the topic. So the next strategy that I always use is to gather all the relevant articles. Now, in my university, there's something called reading list. Now, studying in the UK, I think is very easy. I won't lie to you. They will even give you articles that are relevant to the assignment. In Nigeria, do we have anything like that? No. So I think it's fair enough. So you can check the reading list, but I would advise you go beyond the reading list. I'm not saying you should overwhelm yourself with too many articles, but I mean, the reading list might not be sufficient. So you can always go outside the reading list, go to Google Scholar, find more articles that are related. Now, this is where your skimming skill comes in because you want to get as many articles as you need. I would say something between 30 to 40 articles is good for a particular assignment. So you want to skim read articles that you find online that you can actually pile up for this upcoming assignment. How do you skim read? I'm basically saying you just have to look through the article in probably 10 seconds or 15 seconds. What you want to do is check through the abstract and go to the conclusion. The abstract is a summary of the article. The conclusion is, what are they saying? What's the end result? So if you check this, you can see if it actually fits into what you're looking into. So let's say you've done this, you'll have your 40 article, listen, you're good to go. So the next strategy is to structure your report. I think this is the most important part. If you do not have a structure before you start writing your assignment, I don't think you'll be fine. It's what has actually always helped me. I always structure my report before starting. So I know what you're asking. How do I structure my report? You can structure a report from something called an assignment brief. So an assignment brief basically is a brief that basically tells you instructions on what to do in the assignment, what to expect, the marking criteria and etc. So in this assignment brief, what you want to look into is what are the questions. So you can build a structure, typically introduction, main body, conclusion. However, there are some tutors that will tell you, I don't want introduction, I don't want conclusion due to the word limit. So find out about this one from your tutor. But in a typical situation where your tutor has not told you that he or she doesn't want intro or conclusion, put the intro, put the conclusion. Anyways, we'll talk more about this later in the example part. And one thing again is that you need to be familiar with the kind of words you'll be using in critical analysis. For example, you can use something like argued, consequently, moreover, however. All these things are the things that can actually bring a sort of very in-depth analysis. So that's what I think with respect to the critical part. So the next strategy is content. Now the content is the main thing. Content basically is what's inside the structure. Although I've expanded on this one in the previous one. But the content, I just want to give a brief guide. So what you're doing in the content is that you have to make sure the person reading your article or the person reading your assignment, let's say your tutor, understand and of course is very much engaged. Listen, An average human being lose interest in reading stuff. So you don't want to just pile up the stuff in one page. You want to give it spacing, in a way that you can actually attract the person. So ideally 6 lines and you give paragraph. 6 lines, you give paragraph. And I believe that way you can keep the person in check. The content will expand more on that later in the example part. But you want to make sure, like we said, back it up with a lot of sources. So that leads me to the next part where I'll be sharing with you a real topic we can critically analyze right now. I believe that this example and the topic is relatable, and I believe you will be able to understand critical analysis more. So I'll be looking at my phone. I've written this descriptive part and analytical and the critical analytical part. So pardon me if I'm looking at my phone. Now, what's the topic? The topic is who is the GOAT between Ronaldo and Messi. Now, in case you don't watch football, I'm sure, look at Ronaldo and Messi. They are very popular. I'm sure you've heard about them. You don't need to know football, but this is how we'll be explaining it. Just picture that this assignment is given to you by a uni. It's not a long assignment, just for you to understand it. Anyways, between Ronaldo and Messi. So let's start with the descriptive. Now, you see, the descriptive, it just says Messi and Ronaldo in the last decade share over 10 Ballon d'Or award between them. Maradona 2019. Anyways, may Maradona so rest in peace. The rivalry grew stronger in Spain, with Messi winning, pardon my mistake, 35 trophies with Barcelona, while Ronaldo won 15 trophies with Madrid. Daily Sport 2021. You can see, these are just basic facts. Messi winning the biggest trophy in football, that's the World Cup, seals the GOAT conversation. Barca fans, 2010, listen, I'm bantering Barca fans. The point here is that you made a conclusion, fair enough, but it doesn't give an in-depth analysis. And of course, the sources are decent, but at least probably we need more sources. So this is actually going to be a problem if you just conclude in your essay this way. Compared to when we go to the critical analysis. Now in the critical analysis, you can see that we apply some of the strategy. One of the strategy we apply here is the structure. We talk about the introduction, and we use certain metrics, then we have a conclusion. So it means that if you're talking about an in-depth analysis, you bring in some metrics based on the articles you've read. You don't just form metrics anyway. So one beauty about critical analysis is that you can say Messi is better than Ronaldo, but you have to state facts. You have to give an in-depth analysis. You can say Ronaldo is better than Messi, or you can say none of them are even good, but you have to bring in evidence. So let's get into the critical part. Messi and Ronaldo, GOAT debate. Anyway, let's get into it. Introduction. The last decade has graced the 2 most decorated footballers, leaving the GOAT argument even more unsettled. Sky Sport 2021. Messi and Ronaldo have significantly impacted the new football generation. Pele 2021. Now look at it. This time talk about the metrics. Now before we actually make conclusion, you can see the introduction, straight to the point. The introduction is structured in a way that even if you don't watch football, you understand that we're talking about the 2 of the greatest football players. We're talking about the impact they've made and of course how relevant they are. So let's get into one of the metrics, which is goal record. Sports Ada 2023 reported that Ronaldo has netted 701 club goals and provided 223 assists in 949 appearances so far. But that's crazy. Anyways, however, you can see using however now in the critical analysis because now it looks more argumentative. Messi has scored 701 club goals in just 853 matches compared to Ronaldo's 949. I also want to know one thing. It's not about criticizing. It's about giving different views. You can see now it's saying that, Ronaldo, with respect to the goal record, has a good goal record, but Messi has done it in fewer matches. That's one argument. So you can see, if you move to another pointer or another metric, I beg your pardon, which is the trophies. Let's talk about this one. Messi has won 42 trophies for club and country till date and is only behind Dani Alves in the list of most trophies won. Sport Ada 2022. Figo 2022 argues that while Ronaldo won 34 senior trophies, Messi was heavily carried by Xavi and Iniesta. These are football players that played with Messi in winning 70% of his trophies. You can see another person saying, listen, Messi won more trophies, but it is because of some players helping him win 70% of the trophies. You can see this more in depth. It gives a clear evaluation that, yes, Ronaldo can be better than Messi, or Messi can be better than Ronaldo, which is very interesting. I'm sure you're enjoying it. However, Messi winning the biggest trophy in world football, that's the World Cup, put an end to the GOAT conversation. Thierry, Guardiola, Pele. And you can see 3 people giving a postulation, which shows that in academic writing, this is a strong point. Meaning 3 reputed people are saying, listen, this guy won the World Cup, he has to be the best. Dig it. So let's move to the next metric, which is individual achievement. It's very important. So my point here is that you need to use metrics, you need to use attributes to make some rational decisions or conclusions. So let's talk about individual achievement. Messi has won 7 Ballon d'Or with his World Cup performance, giving him the lead in 2023 Ballon d'Or race. That's Porta 2023. James 2023 argued that Ronaldo winning 5 Ballon d'Or, that's actually a record of any Portuguese, sorry for the grammatical error, is down to manipulation and favoritism of FIFA towards Messi. Basically, this person is arguing that, listen, Messi only won more Ballon d'Or because FIFA were favoring him and due to some manipulation. So that's another contest. And listen, let's go to the conclusion. While the GOAT debate has dragged on for over 7 years, recent achievement of Messi in the last 3 years has elevated him in the conversation. Barca fans 2023. Although Ronaldo's achievement is closely on par with Messi's, I think there's a grammatical error there. Trophies and individual achievement has helped Messi go one step further in the debate. Now, the conclusion, you can see that I'm bringing in context that, listen, this is what people are saying, and you can see the recent achievement of Messi has helped him hedge it. So one thing about critical analysis is that after you've actually you've actually checked sources, you've seen what different people are saying, what's your own opinion, and the opinion here is driving towards the fact that Messi might be the greatest of all time. I don't know why ever since my uni days when I explain things to people, people always tell me, oh, Kolade, you're good at explaining, you must be a lecturer. Well, I hope I've been able to explain what critical analysis is, even using the GOAT debates to say that one. And of course, I hope you enjoyed it. Drop it in the comment section if you think that I've actually helped you understand this better. One more thing though, now that you're actually know how to critically analyze a report, I would appreciate if you can complement this piece of information by watching this video where I actually share top tip on how you can actually get distinction in your academics. See you in the video.